The environment includes everything around us, living and non-living, that interacts with organisms. This includes plants, animals, water, soil, air, and their relationships. Human activities like farming and manufacturing impact natural systems, causing obvious and subtle effects. Understanding these interactions helps us make sustainable decisions. It guides communities, businesses, and governments to balance development with environmental protection. The study of environmental systems shows that everything is connected, and a change in one part can trigger effects elsewhere. Protecting the environment ensures healthy systems for all life, including human life, for future generations. An ecosystem is all the living things in an area interacting with each other and their environment. It's a unit where living and non-living parts balance each other. There are two main types of components in an ecosystem: biotic and abiotic. Biotic components are living things like plants, animals, and humans. Abiotic components are physical factors like temperature and soil. Ecosystems can be natural or artificial. Natural ecosystems form on their own, like forests and oceans. Artificial ecosystems are made by people, like gardens and aquariums. Living organisms are divided into three groups based on how they obtain energy and nutrients. The first group is producers, also known as autotrophs. They make their own food using light energy, like green plants and certain bacteria. Producers create food through photosynthesis, converting sunlight into chemical energy. The second group is consumers or heterotrophs, which depend on producers for food. Consumers include herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. The third group is decomposers, like bacteria and fungi, which break down dead organisms and waste into simple substances. This process releases nutrients back into the soil for plants to use. These three groups work together to keep energy and nutrients flowing through ecosystems. Food chains and webs show energy movement through ecosystems. A food chain is a line of organisms, each feeding on the previous one. Energy transfers in a sequence, with most chains having 3 to 4 levels due to energy loss. Forest, grassland, and pond ecosystems have their own chains. A food web connects multiple chains, giving a more accurate picture of feeding in nature. This interconnection provides ecosystem stability. If one chain is disrupted, organisms can find food through other connections. Organisms have a position in a food chain called a trophic level, with producers at the first level, followed by primary, secondary, and tertiary consumers. Energy moves through ecosystems in one direction, from producers to consumers. It cannot go back to the sun or to previous levels. Plants capture only about 1% of sunlight for photosynthesis. As energy moves up the food chain, it decreases. Consumers convert only about 10% of their food into body mass. The rest is lost as heat, used for digestion, or spent on movement. This creates a limit on the number of levels in a food chain. Typically, there are only 3 to 4 levels before energy runs out. The number of organisms also decreases at each level. The most individuals are at the producer level, with fewer at each successive level. This forms a pyramid shape with a broad base of producers narrowing toward the top. Biological magnification is a process where harmful chemicals accumulate in higher amounts as you move up the food chain. Pesticides and chemicals enter ecosystems through soil and water. Plants absorb these substances, and aquatic plants and animals take them up next. These chemicals persist in tissues and aren't broken down. As smaller organisms are eaten by larger ones, the concentration of chemicals builds up. At the top of the food chain, organisms like humans have the maximum concentration of these substances. This process contaminates food sources, including grains, vegetables, and meat. Organisms at higher levels face greater health risks due to this accumulation, leading to regulatory action and bans on certain products. Ozone is a molecule made of 3 oxygen atoms. It's different from the oxygen we breathe, which is made of 2 oxygen atoms. In the stratosphere, ozone forms a protective shield around the planet. This shield is created when ultraviolet radiation from the sun splits oxygen molecules, forming free oxygen atoms that combine with other oxygen molecules to form ozone. The ozone layer blocks harmful ultraviolet radiation from reaching the Earth's surface, protecting living cells from damage. Without it, skin cancer rates would be much higher and ecosystems would suffer. Waste falls into two main categories: biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Biodegradable waste breaks down naturally through biological processes. Examples include food waste, paper, and animal matter. Non-biodegradable waste resists decomposition and persists in the environment. This includes plastics, metals, and glass. Human activity has increased waste generation due to improved lifestyles and disposable products. To manage waste, individuals can separate biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste and use eco-friendly alternatives. Larger systems like municipalities and industries also play a crucial role in waste collection and recycling. Combined approaches can address the waste challenge. An ecosystem is a community of organisms interacting with each other and their environment. The living parts are biotic components, including plants, animals, and microorganisms. Non-living factors are abiotic components, like temperature and minerals. Organisms that make their own food are producers. Consumers eat food produced by others. Decomposers break down dead matter. A food chain shows feeding relationships between organisms. Multiple chains form a food web, an interconnected network. Each organism has a trophic level in the chain. Harmful substances can accumulate as they move up levels, a process called biological magnification. Ecosystems work because every part depends on each other. Plants capture sunlight and make energy usable for the ecosystem. Energy gets lost at each step of the food chain, so most chains only have 3 to 4 levels. Humans are shaping environmental systems, damaging the ozone layer with chemicals like CFCs. We're generating huge amounts of waste, both natural and non-biodegradable, that harm the environment. Protecting the ozone layer and managing waste are critical. Individual environment-friendly choices add up and make a difference. Countries must also work together to solve environmental problems that cross borders. Chapter 13 explores how environmental systems work and their connection to human well-being. When ecosystems are healthy, people thrive, but when they decline, everyone is affected. The chapter covers 3 key concepts: energy flow, trophic relationships, and waste management. These concepts show how living systems work and how matter moves through them. Understanding these ideas helps us think about environmental problems and find sustainable solutions. Individual choices, such as consumption and resource use, may seem small, but when combined with the choices of millions, they can greatly impact environmental quality. This means that responsibility goes both ways, from systems to individuals and back.